People who are dating someone with a same-sex twin, are you attracted to them? How do you cope with that? My parents met because my dad went up to my mom, grabbed her ass, and said last night was fun. Turns out my party animal aunt had been at a party and boned my dad the night before. My extremely prim and proper mother was mortified and ran away. My dad saw my aunt again later and was like, "What was that this morning?" And my aunt had to explain. He later saw my mom and apologized, and about 5 years later they ran into each other again, and he made sure he knew which one she was when they started talking. Dad and aunt now hate each other. It's not as confusing or tempting as anyone may think. They look the same. My parents still mix them up after 10 years, but different personalities. Fun fact: my brother ended up with her twin anyways. Don't cross the streams though. I used to date a girl with an identical same-sex twin. Most people couldn't tell the difference between them, and couldn't understand why I was attracted to one, but not the other. I could tell them apart though, and to me the one I was dating was far more attractive. I think in reality, it was probably that I was attracted to her personality more than her twins, and that in turn caused her to be physically more attractive. My girlfriend has an identical twin sister. She's Indian. I'm white. Both of them have jet black hair, perfect white teeth, same skin tone, same figure, same height, everything. Her twin is dating my best friend who has similar features to me. Weird enough. They're both gorgeous, but I'm not attracted to her like I am to my girlfriend. Finding the differences when I first met them was embarrassingly difficult, but now I can tell from all angles. Never had any mishaps or confusion of who is who while we were dating, and yes, we affectionately call them the Twindians. I dated a girl with an identical twin sophomore year of college. It was hard to tell them apart even for their parents. They even dressed alike and ate the same type of food and listened to identical music. The attraction was there equally, but the girl I was dating said, "Think of us as two dishes of identical ice cream. You can stick your spoon into one, but not both. Stick your spoon in one, dick in the other." My wife has a twin sister. They're both pretty attractive, but I never was interested in the sister. I almost smacked her butt a few times when we were all together. Thankfully it hasn't happened yet. She's still living. No, she didn't get a gender reassignment. I actually dated an identical triplet. Thankfully they all had very different styles and kept different hair colors, so I never got my girlfriend confused with her two sisters. I'd be a liar if I said the thought of a foursome with 3 different variations of my girlfriend never crossed my mind. Finally, a chance to leave 4 people unsatisfied at a time. Well, it'd actually be 3. My satisfaction levels would be through the roof. I dated a twin years ago. The brother I dated would light up when I walked into a room. The other one treated me like I was in the way. Plus he was a surly, kind of jerky guy. They were both good looking, but the one I dated was just a beautiful person. I know which one I was dating. A. Their haircuts were very different. B. One worked a job cooking and had a noticeable burn mark on his arm. C. The brother had a vicious sense of humor. He wasn't funny to anyone but himself and his pack of brothers. D. They dressed very different. It was 15 years ago. We lived in a small, shitty town with not much going for it. He got an opportunity. He went for it. There was no way in hell I was going to hold him back from escape. We only dated for a matter of months anyway, so it wasn't worth all of that yet. Yes, we were both sad. It was a good decision anyway. We met working in a diner. If anyone would have qualified as a gold digger, it would have been him. I made way more money as a server. All in all, our lives worked out. I met my husband about a year later. I have 2 daughters. He married a lady with a little girl. They had a little boy a few months ago. We both escaped our desperate little town eventually, just not together, and that's perfectly okay. Dated a twin once. After the initial month or so you honestly forget about it. In terms of personality they were both totally different. In terms of naked bodies, not different at all. The girlfriend and I were home alone. I was in another room at the time. Heard the shower start. It wasn't uncommon to jump in together as you do, so I went to the bathroom. Obviously didn't hear the twin get into the house early and she must have went straight to the shower. I went into the bathroom. She said, "I think you're looking for Chloe." I realized the mistake and we both laughed about it. No letter to Penthouse or I banged my girlfriend's sister Pornhub video. Told the girlfriend and she laughed about it. But as I said, everything looked the same. Subtle differences sure, but identical enough that you had to know little differences like mole placement etc. Almost a costly mistake. My buddy's father has an identical twin. His mother has an identical twin. And they are married to each other. Both guys to both girls. It's really weird. His uncle hooked up at the wedding of the first two. Didn't know them well enough to ask the swap question. They lived 3 doors down from each other in a cookie-cutter development. With the same layout. This really weirded me out. Their kids are genetic siblings. Woo. They should name their kids the same too. Hi Barry. Hi other Barry. Pretty sure that's how you get aunts. I dated a twin. I never messed them up, which was good. But there was this one time my girlfriend asked me if I wanted to play a game. I said sure. She showed me a bunch of old pictures of her and her twin sister and asked me to figure out which she was. I'm thinking, I better know. This is probably a test. But I ended up getting really lucky because she seemed to almost always be the one in pink or the one on the left. I asked her if she could tell, and she said no, she just memorized where she was. If it was her first time seeing them, she never would have been able to guess correctly each time. I don't know what kind of chance she thought I had or if she just wanted me to suffer. Luckily I was pretty good at the game. I'm currently dating someone who has an identical twin. It's a little weird as the sister is one of my best friends, but that would be the case even if they weren't twins. I originally had a crush on my SO's twin, but I was way too scared to ask her out. But that's fizzled now, so it's not a problem. They also don't look very similar even though they are identical, due to medical reasons. Dated a girl who has an identical twin. Weirdest thing that happened was when I came to pick her up at her place. I thought she was the one who answered the door. Called her babe and leaned in for a kiss. She shoved her hand to my chest and said whoa, I'm not Chelsea. It was goddamn awkward after that. Told my so what happened and she laughed her ass off. I know. My ex had an identical twin, and I didn't find her attractive at all. Perhaps weirdly, they looked exactly alike, but had such incredibly different voices. I only once ever got them confused. And it was a doozy. They had a habit of wearing each other's clothes, which is, I mean, come on now, why would you do that to us? The 3 of us were cooking together. I stepped away to use the bathroom. I come back and I approach the wrong twin from behind as she's chopping something. My girlfriend was in the other room talking to our guests and I place my hand on her back and say hi sweetie. The wrong twin whips around with a knowing smile and says hi, and then just goes back to chopping. I was clearly very embarrassed and just kinda blanked out. And she just turned around and kept chopping. I think the knowing smile was an hey, I get it. It happens. Don't worry kind of smile. When I told my girlfriend, she found it hilarious and made fun of me for a long time about it. And I kept saying why would she be wearing your favorite shirt? Kinda. I found her attractive but she was a different person. So half of what I was attracted to changed. I briefly dated a twin and she once said to me, so if you didn't know me at all, but you knew my sister instead, you'd be going out with her, not me, right? The truth is yes, obviously I was physically attracted to both of them since they were identical, and you cope with it by knowing the person you're dating on a deeper level. Obviously more than just thinking about her looks and body. At least for me that was it. So if you didn't know me at all, but you knew my sister instead, you'd be going out with her, not me, right? That's a bad way of thinking. Though, if you didn't know her, you could meet someone else entirely and date her instead. Dated a twin in high school. His brother was flamboyantly gay. So no, never found myself attracted to him. Is your twin just more subtle about it? Misa has an identical twin. I'm not attracted to the twin at all. They look very much alike, but they have very different personalities and style. It helps that they were raised as separate individuals. Never wore the same clothes, for example. The person who was my first kiss later ended up taking my twin's virginity. I was talking to a twin and I asked her out to a movie date. She brought her twin, and when we were chatting after the movie I realized I liked the other one's personality better and dated her. It was a little awkward after that. She brought her twin to your date. She kind of started the awkward train if you ask me. The twin sister was a bitch. It was a huge turn off. I just reminded myself that I already knew what she looked like naked. Nice. My wife's identical twin sister is the most annoying person ever. Funny. After identical twin, my iPhone suggested the rest of the sentence. Girl twin here, just on the other side of things. I can't tell you how difficult it was to find someone who wasn't completely infatuated and intrigued by my twin and I. Almost all of my relationships, Misa would somehow get in touch with my sister and ask for nudes. It's always been extremely hard on me, and I have a lot of self-esteem issues in result. To cope with it, I just get out of the situation and remind myself some people are just the way they are, and that means there will be someone who is good enough to see and want my identity only. That's crazy. That is literally the last thing I would ever think to ask the sister of the girl I was dating.